Alabama comes in as a heavy favorite against Florida in the SEC championship, and I gave you 5 reasons why Florida could potentially pull off this upset. Look, there are more than 5 reasons to say that Alabama would win this game. I mean, there are a lot of advantages for this team. This is the best team in college football. I get it. You know, there is a chance for Florida in this one. Like I said, if certain things go their way, maybe they could pull off this upset. But for Alabama, if they play their best, if they take care of business and do the things that they are supposed to do, they'll win this game. But I'm going to give you the 5 reasons that I think are the biggest reasons why Alabama will win. And again, if they do what they need to do, take care of these 5 things, they will take care of Florida. They will win the SEC championship, and they will advance to the college football playoff as the number 1 overall seed. So let's start with number 5. It is Najee Harris. Najee Harris has been a matchup nightmare for teams this year. He is possibly the best running back in the country. He maybe doesn't have the stats because Alabama blows everyone out, and he's just not going to play as much, not going to get as many carries, although he does have 183 carries this year. But he's averaging 5.9 yards per rush, 1,084 yards rushing. But it's not just on the ground where he has 22 touchdowns. It's also through the air. He has 27 catches, 249 yards there. Just, again, a matchup nightmare coming out of the backfield. He's a big reason for Alabama's success this year. I know Mac Jones has been great. Devonta Smith has been great. But Najee Harris, I think, is underrated. Again, I think he's one of the top backs in the country. And I don't see Florida really stopping him in this game. It's going to be tough. You know, Florida's defense has not been great this year. So this will be a big advantage, I think, for Alabama. And I think Najee Harris will run the football with ease. And if Florida cannot slow him down first, I think they're in big trouble. Now, if they can take him away and force Mac Jones to throw the ball, and again, get after him, get some sacks, get some pressure, get in his face, make him uncomfortable. If they can do those things, that's what they have to do. So I think it all starts with Najee Harris for the Florida defense. But I think that it's going to be tough for them to stop him. And I think if he has the typical Najee Harris day, Alabama should win this game. Let's go to number 4 now. It is Mac Jones and Devonta Smith. So really, I had both of these reasons listed, but I decided to put them together so I could get 5 because I couldn't get them all in here. Again, I had a lot of reasons for Alabama. But Mac Jones and Devonta Smith, the connection that they've had this year has been just amazing. I know everybody. We knew Mac Jones was going to be good for Alabama. We thought he would be able to, a capable quarterback for them, but I don't think anyone expected him to be quite as good as he has been. And same thing could be said for Devonta Smith, who has just been unbelievable. 83 catches this year, over 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. Now he's running punts back for touchdowns. I mean, he's basically unguardable. And, I know without Jalen Waddle, who potentially, I saw something where he could potentially be back for this game. I'm not sure. I haven't heard that for sure. But even without him in there, you've got other weapons as well. So it's just, you can't just double team Devonta Smith all the time. And even if you double teamed him, he still might get the ball because he's been that good this year. And Mac Jones has been able to find him. His numbers have been off the charts. A 76% completion percentage, thrown for over 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. And again, doesn't even play the entire game a lot of times because they blow teams out. It's just no one has been able to stop this combo all year. And I don't know if it starts here. I don't know if Florida's able to do that. If they can, obviously, that'll give them a great shot, but I don't really see it happening. This is a big reason why Alabama will take care of business and win this game. Let's go to number 3. It's the offensive line for Alabama, which I think doesn't get talked about enough. This is maybe the best offensive line in the country this year. They have been really, really good. You've probably got 4 starters or 5 starters that are all going to be in the NFL. They've got depth there as well. This is maybe the best offensive line that Nick Saban has had at Alabama. I mean, they're just really, really good. They're always good. I just feel like this year's group is special. When you look at Mac Jones back there throwing, very rarely does he have anyone even in his face. I mean, he's got all day to throw. They're number one actually in the SEC in sacks allowed, so that tells the story right there. And also, if you look at the run game, they're number 2 in the SEC in yards per carry. So, I mean, they do it all. They're great in the run game, great at protecting Mac Jones, but that's going to be the big key here is protecting Mac Jones. Florida has a really good pass rush. They're going to come after him, I think. If this offensive line can hold up, it's going to be very tough for Florida defensively, because if he has a clean pocket, he's proven he's going to make the correct play. The receivers are very talented, and you're just really not going to stop Alabama if Mac Jones has all day to throw. So that's going to be one of the biggest keys, I think, in this game. And if Alabama can hold up on the offensive line and do what they've done all year, again, it's going to be tough for Florida to slow them down on the offensive side of the ball. So let's go to number 2 now. It's the improved secondary. Remember that Ole Miss game? They got torched, gave up some big plays, and you can just see the growth for this Alabama secondary from the beginning of the season until now. Yes, they've had a lot of young players. They had many new faces on that defensive side of the ball in the secondary, but they have rose to the challenge. It has been amazing to watch the improvement here. They're talking about Jordan Battle, Daniel Wright, Malachi Moore. These guys all with at least 1 interception. Malachi Moore has 3 interceptions. Josh Jobe, he's broken up 8 passes this year. They've been good in the run game as well. We're talking about those 3 guys I mentioned at first. Jordan Battle, he's got 52 tackles this year. Daniel Wright's got 49. Malachi Moore's got 41. He's also got 4 tackles for loss. He has just been a star for them. And again, a lot of these are young players. DeMarco Hellams has been good, 38 tackles. Patrick Surtain is maybe the best cornerback in the country this year. He's pretty much developed into a lockdown corner. He pretty much just can't throw the ball his way. So, I mean, this secondary has come a long ways, and they've continued to improve all year long. And this is not the secondary that Florida wants to see. We know Florida likes to throw the ball, and it's going to be strength on strength. Which is better, Florida's passing game, Florida's wide receivers, or this Alabama secondary? I kind of lean towards the Alabama secondary just because there are really no holes anymore for them. Again, early on, they had some young guys still trying to get some things figured out. But if you look at this group now, there really is no weakness in the secondary. There's no guy that you can pick on. They are just one of the top secondaries in the country. They're elite. And Alabama's defense usually is, but we could talk about all of their defense, though. We could talk about the front 7 as well. I mean, look at Will Anderson. He's had 5 sacks this year. Christian Barmore on the defensive line's had 6 sacks. Christopher Allen's had 3 sacks. They get behind the line of scrimmage quickly. They're very tough to block. And just across the board, this Alabama defense has developed into a typical Nick Saban defense. And that's something we didn't see the last couple of years. They weren't quite as good as what we were used to seeing from Alabama, but they finally gotten back to that level. And with the explosiveness of this offense, plus a typical Alabama defense, this team is just scary good. And I think they are clearly the best team in the country. But again, we got to give all that credit to our number 1 reason why Alabama will win this game, and that is Nick Saban. Give credit to him for changing his offense, for developing his offense into an offense that more not the old school run the ball pro style type offense. He has transitioned his offense over the years into this explosive offense that's become one of the best in the country, which is just not what we saw back several years ago. And now he's been able to get his defense back to playing at the level that you would expect to see from an Alabama defense. They've been healthy. That is a big reason for their success this year. They've been really healthy. Haven't had hardly any injuries, which is something that hurt them the last couple of years. And maybe that's really the only reason why their defense was not as good as it usually is because of those injuries. So you see, now that they're healthy, Nick Saban, he is still the best coach in the country. Now, if Dabo Swinney were to beat him this year, I'm going to give him the crown. But I think if Alabama wins it all this year, Nick Saban still the best coach in the country. But more specifically for this game, it is a big game, and we've seen time and time again, Nick Saban in these big games is very tough to beat. And the fact that they had an easy time with Arkansas last week, you have to wonder, was was Alabama. They knew how easy it was going to be against Arkansas. Were they already preparing, or not the team? I'm sure Nick Saban's not going to say anything to the team, but maybe he was already kind of starting to prepare for Florida because he just knew that, they weren't going to have any kind of a problem with Arkansas. So maybe he's even had more time to prepare. Maybe Florida tried to do that. Maybe that's why they lost to LSU. I really don't know. But again, this is the best coach in the country. He's going to have his team prepared as well as you can have a team prepared. He's faced all the challenges this year of COVID and everything, and that's why I picked Alabama to win it all in the preseason, because in such a strange year with all the distractions and everything, which coach do I trust more than any other coach? It's Nick Saban. And I think that's the biggest reason why Alabama will beat Florida. He's not going to let this team overlook the Gators. I know they just lost to LSU. He is not going to let them overlook Florida. He will have them prepared. And because of that, I think that is a big reason, the number one reason why Alabama will take care of business. They'll beat Florida, and they will win the SEC championship.